Why do you check your phone the second it buzzes? Or find yourself in the kitchen at 3 p.m. reaching for a snack you don't even really want? We think we're making choices, but often we're just running a program. Charles Duhigg, in The Power of Habit, pulls back the curtain on this program. It's called the habit loop, and it runs our lives. It has three simple parts. First, the cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode. This could be a time of day, an emotion, a location. Second, the routine, the physical or mental action you take. And finally, the reward, the little hit of pleasure or satisfaction that tells your brain, hey, this loop is worth remembering for the future. Think of the company that created Febreze. They couldn't sell it until they realized the people needed to slot it into a habit. The cue became finishing a cleaning chore. The routine was spraying Febreze. And the reward? Not just the absence of a bad smell, but the satisfying clean scent itself. Your brain starts to crave that scent, and suddenly, a habit is born. This loop doesn't just explain why you bite your nails. It explains how companies transform. Duhigg introduces the idea of keystone habits, small changes that ripple outwards, creating massive shifts. The classic example is Paul O'Neill when he became CEO of the manufacturing giant Alcoa. His first speech to investors wasn't about profits, it was about worker safety. Wall Street was baffled. But O'Neill knew that to make the company safer, he had to understand why accidents happened. This one obsessive focus on safety forced managers to improve communication, streamline production, and listen to workers. It overhauled the entire corporate culture. And in the end, Alcoa's profits hit a record high. The most powerful keystone habit for any individual? Willpower. Duhigg describes it not as a character trait, but as a muscle. It gets tired if you overuse it, which is why making big decisions all day can leave you grabbing junk food at night. But it can also be trained. Starbucks, for instance, trains its employees in specific routines for dealing with angry customers. By automating their response, they conserve their willpower for more important tasks, strengthening that muscle over time. So if habits are so powerful, how do you fix a bad one? You don't just erase it, you redesign it. This is what Duhigg calls the golden rule of habit change. It's elegantly simple. Keep the same cue and provide the same reward, but change the routine. Take Alcoholics Anonymous. It's one of the most successful behavior change organizations in history. Why? It understands the habit loop. The cue for many alcoholics is a need for relief from anxiety or a craving for social connection. The reward is that feeling of ease. AA provides a new routine. Instead of heading to a bar, you go to a meeting or call a sponsor. The cue is the same, that feeling of need. The reward is the same, companionship and relief, only the routine has changed. And over time, this new pathway in your brain becomes stronger. Deeper in the brain, this is a physical process. As a routine becomes automatic, control shifts from your conscious prefrontal cortex to the basal ganglia, the ancient part of the brain that runs automated programs. Changing a habit is the act of consciously carving a new path for that automatic signal to follow. Duhigg's framework is more relevant now than ever because that habit loop is being engineered all around us. The apps on your phone, the feeds you scroll through, they're designed to hook you with cues, routines, and variable rewards. We now have AI-powered habit coaches that offer personalized support using these principles to help us change for the better. But this also raises critical questions. As these tools become more sophisticated, how do we ensure they empower our autonomy instead of just making us better at following their programs? How do we protect our privacy when the data being collected is the very blueprint of our daily lives? The ultimate lesson from The Power of Habit isn't a simple life hack. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing that much of what we do is the script. But once you can see the script, once you can identify the cue that sends you to the fridge, the routine of opening the door, and the reward of that sugary snack, you're not a mindless actor anymore. You're the director. You have the power to rewrite the next scene. And that changes everything.